Picture the scene. End of the month. You open your banking app, half out of habit, half out of fear. But this time there's something different on the screen. A separate account, with a name you gave it yourself. And inside it, $1,000. Untouched. Yours. Whoever has never been there thinks that scene is about money. It's not. And whoever has been there knows. Something changes inside you on that day, and it never goes back to how it was. Before we go on, the usual, quick and honest. This is education about habits and mindset. It's not investment advice, and it's not a promise of getting rich. That said, in the 5 stages video, I promised to show you from the inside the Guardian's exact habit, the moment of the turn. How the first 1,000 actually happens, in practice, even on a small paycheck. This video is that promise kept. And at the end, I'll show you something almost nobody notices. The reason someone who saves their first 1,000 almost never ends up going back to 0. Hold on to that question, because the answer is the most important part. Let's start by killing the myth. The first 1,000 is the hardest of them all. Harder than the 5th, harder than the 10th. And it's not because of the math. Look at the math. $83 a month for 1 year is $1,000. $83. Less than $3 a day. The math is almost embarrassing. It's so small. So why does almost nobody get there? Because the first 1,000 is not a math problem. It's an identity war. You're trying to build a new habit inside a person who spent a lifetime training the opposite one. Every time money sits in your hands, your old pattern wakes up. It has years of training. It knows exactly what to do with idle money. Spend it. And that's why willpower doesn't work. Willpower gets tired. Habit doesn't. So let me show you the habit, the way it works in real life. I call it the payday ritual. 4 steps, and you'll see that none of them depends on earning more. Step 1. The slice leaves first. The day the money lands, before any bill, before groceries, before anything, a piece leaves. It's not what's left at the end. It's what leaves first, at the start. It can be $50. It can be 30. The size doesn't matter yet, and in a moment you'll understand why. Step 2. It goes far away. Money sitting in your everyday account doesn't survive. It stays there, right next to your card, blinking. So the slice goes to a separate account. Another bank. No card attached. Out of reach of a single tap. Distance is the protection. Step 3. It gets a name. Not savings. A generic name defends nothing. It's a name that means something to you. My proof, my restart, first freedom. It sounds silly until the day a sale shows up and you think about taking the money. Pulling money out of a random account is easy. Stealing from my proof is a different conversation. Money with a name has an owner. Step 4. Repeat on the same day, every month. The ritual happens on payday, always. It's not a decision you make every month. It's a decision you made once, and now you just execute. The old pattern loses the election every month because the voting is over. That's the whole ritual. 4 steps, 10 minutes a month. Maybe you're thinking, there's not even 30 left in my account. I know. And that's exactly why the slice leaves on payday, not at the end of the month. At the end of the month, there's never anything left. The month eats everything it can see. On the day the money lands, $20 disappears without hurting. At the end of the month, $20 is what's missing for a bill. If 30 is too much, start with 20. The ritual doesn't need your money. It needs your repetition. And I know what you might be thinking now. That's it. That's it. But pay attention, because now comes the part that takes most people down. The ritual starts easy. First week, you're excited. Second week, still fine. Then the third week arrives. And in the third week, the month gets tight. And the three thieves show up. If you saw their short video on the channel, here's what didn't fit there. How each one arrives. And the question that disarms each one. The first thief is the false emergency. It arrives like this. Week 3, your phone starts failing. Or your sneaker sole starts peeling. And a voice says, "It's urgent, use the jar." Notice the detail. The urgency is almost never about survival. It's desire dressed up as an emergency. The guardian asks one question before opening the jar. Does this threaten my roof, my food, or my health? If the answer is no, it's not an emergency. It's wanting. And wanting can wait for the next paycheck. The second thief doesn't look like a thief. It looks like kindness. End of a heavy month, you held on and your head whispers, you deserve it. And you do? The question is, deserve what? A dinner you'll forget in a week, or the first year of your life when December doesn't scare you? The guardian doesn't cut the "I deserve it." He trades the gift. The third thief comes through your phone. Someone you know, a group, a screenshot of easy money. Put it here, it doubles. And here I'll be direct. The first 1,000 is not money for multiplying. It's training money. It's where you learn to hold, defend, not touch. Whoever hands the jar to a promise of speed doesn't just lose the money. They lose the months of training with it. Of the three, this is the thief that charges the most. And that's why the size of the slice doesn't matter at the start. $50 that survives the three thieves is worth more than $500 that dies in week 3. You're not training the amount, you're training the defense. Now let me show you what happens when the ritual completes a few months. Because there's an effect nobody tells you about. The jar grows slowly. 50, 130. Because 1 month you managed a little extra. 220. One day you open the app and there are $600 with your name on it. And then something strange happens. You start enjoying watching the number grow more than spending. The old pattern, the one that spent a lifetime shouting, starts speaking quieter. Not because you beat it with force, because you replaced it with training. And when the screen finally shows 1,000, that scene from the beginning comes back, except now you're inside it. And notice what you don't do. You don't tell anyone. You don't post it. You stay there, looking at the round number, and you notice something strange. It doesn't look like money. It looks like proof. 12 months ago, you were the person who swore it wasn't possible. Today, money stayed by choice. You decided, executed, defended, and arrived. Nobody gave it to you. And that's why nobody takes it. And now the answer I promised at the start. Why does someone who saves their first 1,000 almost never goes back to zero? Because what the first 1,000 buys is not the interest. $1,000 earned cents, let's be honest. What the first 1,000 buys is a new identity. You stopped being the person who tries to save and became the person who saves. And identity doesn't come undone in one bad month. If the jar empties in a true emergency, the person you became builds it again, in less time, without drama. The ritual keeps running. That's why the second 1,000 usually comes faster than the first, and the fifth faster than the second. The hard part was never the money. It was becoming someone who saves, and that, after the first 1,000, is already done. So here's your practical step, and it starts on your next paycheck. Choose the size of your slice right now, however small. Open the separate account today. No card. Give it a name that means something, and mark the day. When the paycheck lands, Run the ritual out first, far away, with a name every month. And tell me one thing in the comments, the name you're going to give your jar. Writing the name down is the first time it exists outside your head. Keep this episode's mantra, little with a name, every month. In the next video of this series, I'll go one step up. What changes inside you between the first 1,000 and 5,000, the stage where an emergency becomes an inconvenience and your sleep changes quality? Subscribe so you don't miss it, because the ladder continues. And if this video gave you a map, share it with that person who earns little and swears that's why they can't save. They need to see the $83 math. Every harvest begins with an inner seed. Yours costs $50 on payday. Plant it quietly.